Good morning. How's everybody doing? Hopefully you've had a good night and everybody slept well and everything's doing pretty good. So I've got a disaster film for you, a science fiction disaster film for you that I kind of liked. It came out in 2004. It was based on a book, the global, the coming global superstorm by Art Bell. Art Bell is a radio show, talk show host. It's called The Day After Tomorrow. They predicted the Ice Age. Yeah, I can't even talk. That's not a good thing for me. Anyway, so here we go. We're going to talk about this. Okay. Somebody pushed the wrong button, Mr. Editor. You got to quit doing that. Yeah, I know. You like pushing those buttons. So anyway, they're in New York at the U.S. NOAA, National Weather Service, the UN, and they got all those people there together because they had a bunch of people drop dead in one of the cities. No, that's not the wrong movie. Wrong movie. I did that movie. This one, they predicted that there's an upcoming ice age to the vice president. They predicted it was 100 million years ago. Yeah, it really wasn't. It was 50, or in the movie it was 10 days from when he spoke. So an Arctic weather station was monitoring the buoys off the coast of California weather temperatures in key areas. And they started the movie off with them taking ice samples on the ice packs up at North Pole area. Then a whole shelf breaks off as the kid was drilling for ice, and they did things that they did more to save the ice cores than they did to save themselves. So the whole thing just kind of pushed away. That was kind of fun. Yeah, I'm running out of light right there. Pushed away, no light. Anyway, so they had a big superstorm coming in, and it changed the weather patterns overnight. And this is based on what global warming is going to do now, because this movie started the whole global warming concept idea. So people turn this into politics. Kind of stupid how people think the TV movie is real. Yeah, it's the end of the game for them idiots. But this is a pretty good movie. I kind of like it. So the scientist Jack has been neglecting his kid because he's been working too hard on all of his movies and stuff, or not all of his movies, all of his work doing climate theories and all that stuff. He teaches he doesn't teach. He's a climatologist. Made a predictive model. Yeah, he made the predictive model. Yeah, hopefully that's done. Usually does it 2 or 3 times. He made a predictive model about how the Earth is going to end in 100,000 years, and then he was doing the speech, and like I said, so the first ice storm they showed that was in Tokyo, Japan, where it started raining ice balls as big as your head, according to the movie. That's happened before. Then Los Angeles gets hit with a tornado and takes out a news station and a whole bunch of towers and stuff. Then New York City, that's where his son and his friends and his friend's daughter go for a mathlon. And they get stuck there after the mathlon because it starts raining and flooding there. They even show sewer coming up out of the sewer drains instead of going into the sewer drains, which those weren't really sewer drains. Those were just water drains, runoff drains, taking the storm water to the ocean. But they ended up going to this friends of the competition house because that's where the girl wanted to go, and her son's sweet on the girl, and then they ended up going back to the New York Public Library because they couldn't stay in the high rise for whatever reason. So they end up getting stranded in the New York Public Library because it was the closest place they could get when it started flooding, and then the traffic wasn't moving. And then they got a big tidal wave that wiped out a bus, and a rich guy from Suits in New York he did a cameo in this, and the ugly mean guy from Suits, TV show Suits, was trying to force a bus driver to put back in service so he could get out of the area. Well, in traffic, you ain't going nowhere, no matter how much money you got. So the bus gets wipes off the map, and the passengers and all that get taken by the water. And they don't tell you what happens to them, but they get taken by the water. And that bus comes in handy later on in the show too. Then they get a big ship, after they're stuck in the library, and the son's girlfriend catches something, and she needs penicillin. So there's a ship that washed up a couple days earlier, and the eye of the freezing storm, people leave the library and they get froze too, because they were told not to. It turned out to be a pretty good disaster movie, and how it's a pretty good predictor of how people would react and stuff like that. Yeah, so most of the southern part of the United States had to evacuate in this movie to Mexico, so they didn't freeze to death, instant freeze like the mammoths and all that stuff did. It turned out to be a pretty good movie. And the girls are still bugging me, even though I stopped for a minute to text them. Oh well, we'll get going again in a few minutes. Anyway, Blake, the President Blake, has to evacuate everybody to warmer climates after our guy Jack tells him that he has to leave because there's no way, it has to move down there. And they kept arguing about politics and all kinds of fun stuff. And I'm getting the "Are you there?" texts. Anyway, so they end up moving most of the population down there, and they had to do politics to get Mexico to open up and to host Americans, and it fills up that little section until the ice age goes away and floodwaters freeze, and everybody survives. So they go through the whole storm, and it turns out that they had all kinds of problems in the library. They were burning books, which some of the books they burned would have been perfect, law books and Republican books. It would have been great for that. Or Democrat books. I didn't mean to say Republican books, but I did anyway. Democrat books. So it turned out to be, a pretty interesting movie. It's a pretty good disaster movie, and this time they actually showed both sides of the story on this one, so I was pretty impressed about that. Kind of like that they didn't just point it from one point of view. They put several different points of view in this, as far as the politics side goes. Yeah, that's okay. Anyway, so we'll talk to you later on. Well, I can't talk to you later on this one. I still got to do that thing I keep trying to forget. My brain's not working too good.
Off with your head!
Yeah, that's what I ought to do to myself. Off with your head. Sure feels like I should do that. Anyway, so this is distributed by 20th Century Fox. May 17th, 2004 in Mexico City. Then May 28th, 2004 in the United States. So they thought Mexico was more important than the United States at that time. But all these movie makers do that. They think some other country is better than here. Than the United States, which is probably true. The more you think about it. We can talk about those politics on the other channel. They spent $125 million on this thing, lots of special effects. And at the box office, they made $552.6 million. That turned out to be a pretty good thing. A pretty good thing. Oh, I got to download. Did I download No, I didn't download the damn poster. I got to download the damn poster and put it there so you guys can have it on the way in. And I'm being called lazy for the way I do these videos all over the place. There we go. We got another one in there in the photo bank, and we'll put some keywords in it, descriptions and all that stuff in the photo. And I should put descriptions and stuff in the in the video, but I think I'll just hold off on that one for a little bit. So anyway, that's the end of that movie review. Hopefully you've enjoyed that one. I like this movie. It's a pretty good disaster movie, but I like disaster movies where they're destroying New York or California, you know, and other states in the world. And it actually happens in real life anyway, so you can't really complain too much when they do build countries, city models in the movies, because it's always fun to watch them being destroyed. As long as you don't have to live it, it's great. Anyway, so take care, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye now.